Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Gamalam Guapiwe, and you are live on the Adamant Apiwe YouTube channel. If this is your first time on here, show me, please like and subscribe and comment down below. If you are a returning subby, welcome back, sweetie pie. So let's get into it. Shop. In this video, I will be doing a little bit of a re-intro on who Apiwe is, because a lot has happened since like the first time I attempted, right, the YouTube platform, the YouTube space. So basically, I was based in Gqeberha, EC, for about 5 years. In the duration I was studying, in the duration I also worked in retail. So I found retail to be a bit, yay, it was hectic for me. But ndanyamezela.
Bekezela ntombazane.
I bekezelled, And I think there was just a point where I was like, I can't do it anymore. And then I gave in my resignation letter. And obviously I was just so exhausted on so many levels. Like, then I decided, well, okay, I'm gonna go home and like try to put the pieces of my life together. And I think it was a really good move at the time, right? And oftentimes I think as a young person at that age, I had put so much pressure on myself, but I need to have achieved this, I need to have done this and that and that, and it just wasn't working out, And obviously I wasn't going to stick around in PE, crashing at people's places for free. It just didn't make sense. So I just decided, as Ndoni, I have a home, they love me at home. I actually am fortunate enough to still be able to go back home in such instances. So I went home. And then I got home, and home literally was such a shocker for me as well, because I think in my head I went home as that little kid up here from years ago, right? And when I got home, it wasn't the same. I think it required of me to grow up a lot. It required of me to step into a couple of roles that I hadn't stepped into before, and I found it really, really challenging, to say the least. I think at some point I did low-key slip into a depression, because I was like, man, I wish I had stayed in PE, you understand? And I think we do that a lot, where we're like, I wish, like, I think the one reference for me is the Israelites in the Bible. And okay guys, here's on Golela, because I'm such a Bible girly, okay? But the Israelites is such a reference for me in this instance, because when they were in Egypt, right, they were crying out to God, but God save us, like, and God finally sends Moses and they leave Egypt. But at the sight of a challenge, the first challenge in the wilderness, yabo, on their way out of Egypt, they're already thinking about return, yabo. And I think we do that a lot when we're faced with like challenges and stuff. But anyways, so I found it really, really difficult, like having to be a supportive system in a particular way, but with all the challenges, so much good came from it as well. Learning about people, learning about how to be there for people, learning about the needs of people, how to cover them, how to be there for them, support them, how to love them in a way that they can relate to as well. So I think it really, really helped me to grow. I think I was at home for like shortly over a year or 2 years, could be 2 years, I'm not sure. But over a year for sure. Yeah, bo. I can definitely tell you guys, but I also like here and there, I did some dodgy things while I was at home. I think it goes back to the importance of accountability, as I said in the last video. And not just in the aspect of relationships, like romantic relationships, but accountability is such an important thing, to have people around you who can tell you about you, no, wrong, or up here you're acting out of character, what's going on, you know. And so I was at a place where I felt like I didn't have my accountability nearby, and so I felt a pressure, and I think I put it on myself actually. I felt a pressure to do stuff and to survive, because in the environment I was in, there was a need and there was responsibilities for me, roles I needed to step into. Whereas when I was coming there, I came with the purpose of resting first and being a kid. And I couldn't really get to that place because there were roles that needed to be stepped into. Yabo. So I started like dabbling in a lot of nonsense. like I started going to Groove. Let's talk about that. Yes, and I'm sure some of you guys are gonna be like, yo, and that funny, let's sign. Yes, guys, I started going to Groove, and here's my thing with Groove, right? I don't judge anyone who goes to Groove, by the way. Yeah. But see, why nigga yo, hey, I sign. I see Groove into. So I went to Groove, and my reasons for going to Groove was it was a coping mechanism that would help to, I know this sounds strange, right? But I would go to Groove with the purpose of dancing, right? So the people I would go with already knew. Up here, you buy her an energy drink, you buy her a bottle of water. I go there, I dance until I'm so tired, so that by the time I get home, I just go to bed, right? Because I was so anxious about everything and I was restless. And so for me, Groove allowed me, or Groove was a crutch that gave me a platform to let out the steam in a way where, because these people, right, I think the first time you go to Groove, they're like, huh, up here is at Groove. Then the second time it's like, oh, highway too. It is what it is, you know. And yes, I was wrong, because also the Bible does say, do not let your brother stumble. For some of those people there, Groove is a bondage, actually. Groove is a bondage. And I could have possibly let them stumble by being there. And I take full responsibility for that shame. Like, Bendy wrong. I went to Groove, and I went to Groove a lot. I wasn't drinking, wasn't smoking, wasn't like, you know, but I just went there as a coping mechanism. But as I stated now, why it is out of character, and it's not something that I would usually do. Yes, I love to dance, like on TikTok, not ever, but Groove is a different space. Anyone who's living a double life, anyone who knows Christ will tell you that it's different, especially if in your past life you indulged a lot in that kind of life. It's a doorway to so many things that could potentially take you away from your devotion to God. So yeah, I started going to Groove, and so many things followed after those things. Going to Groove, the fornication, the like so many things happened, guys. At one point I just felt like, you know what, my life is not gonna change, it's not gonna get better. I was applying for jobs, not getting anything, right? Applying for school, not getting anything. Like, I feel like for me, at least let me get an interview, at least let me get a response. when you ghost me, bruh, it's another level. I was like, God, what? You hectic. But as I said before, I really think the time at home was necessary, because I remember when I was here for studies, I would always say to like the people around me, I long to be at home. I have to be with my family. I wonder if they're okay. I wonder if they're, superhero syndrome, I think. How crazy of me at that age to actually think I could put my family together and, like save certain people from certain things. It just doesn't work like that, and it didn't work like that even when I had the opportunity to be at home. A couple of things that I'd say I learned. I'm going to share 5 good things that I learned. I'm going to share 5 terrible lessons that I learned. I think let me start with the terrible ones so we have a happy ending. The first thing I learned is the fact that with accountability, you can't be conditional. You can't want accountability here but not want it there. It doesn't work like that. Then you're defeating the whole purpose of it, right? And so I didn't cut contact when I went home, but the conversations got less and less and less, and to a point where they would now become about other things outside of these important things, like what's going on in your life, where are you at, Apiwe, yabo. So the first lesson I learned was that don't be conditional with your accountability. Noba use America, noba upi, if your accountability is in South Africa or wherever, make sure that you guys keep contact, and that your people know, they just know where you at, because you're walking together, they're walking with you, literally. It's important, it matters. I actually think it would have saved me from a lot of the things that I fell into at that time, yabo. And then the second tough lesson that I learned was other people don't have your heart, bruh. I think I got really, really heartbroken by this at home, because I really thought, like, because I'm this person, and I'm acting this way, and I'm, growing in my faith, stretching myself to be generous, stretching all of these things, I thought that other people would commend me on that, or affirm me in that, or make me like, or congratulate me or something, or applaud that. Child, they don't owe me that. Nobody owes me that. Uzenzela wena. That's what my mom would always say. Uzenzela wena. Literally, every act of kindness, every thing, man, just the things you do with your heart, you do them because it's you, and you shouldn't expect a compensation for ezo zinto ezo, because if it's you, then it's you, And then something else that I also learned that was a tough lesson, I guess, is forgiveness. I think we don't talk about forgiveness enough. There were many cases where the people I loved hurt me a lot. They said a lot of hurtful things, a lot of discouraging things, where you're not employed, right? And you are trying, but people are, and maybe out of frustration, they say things that are so scarring. And I really think that if I didn't know the Lord, I would have went crazy, They say things, and they don't even, like, to them it's not wrong what they're saying. To them it's fine, like, it's okay, it is what it is, and it's a fact. And I think that's what hurt the most, like, this person truly believes this about me. Like, what? So I had to learn to forgive, and I had to learn to forgive the people that I wouldn't do that stuff to. I had to learn to give grace to them, to serve them, to be like, yo, Lomdulo 2 minutes ago said the most hurtful comment, but I'm gonna dish you up food, when you're crying, I'm gonna be there for you. Like, I had to, because honestly, guys, I think some of these things seem easier from a distance, right? And they seem easier in certain contexts and certain containers. But when it's close to home, when it's people who have walked the journey of life with you, it's like, dang, man, that hurt. Yeah, well, so I had to learn. I really had to learn forgiveness and everything else that comes with that. Having to see that person and not seeing them as that comment, but seeing them as this person and loving them. Yeah, well. Then another thing that I learned was you can't fix people. You can't fix people, and other people can't fix you either. We were not made for such. You can help people, you can empower, uplift, whatever, but you cannot fix people. Ultimately, they need to get to a place where they're like, I want to change. I want to don. I want to don. And don't do this, because I actually believe that this is one of the leading reasons where we find ourselves compromising a lot in so many ways. Relationships, friendships, like you're compromising because you're like, no, I can fix you. I just need to ta here and there, and just you'll be fine. We'll be good to go. No, my sweetie pie, doesn't work like that. You're not the fixer. Sorry, not sorry. You know, you're not the fixer. You can't fix people. And I think the last terrible lesson, and these are not terrible, but it's a terrible lesson because I learned it a hard way. A terrible lesson that I learned is that no one is you. No one is going to do the things that you do. No one is going to carry your cross for you. No one is going to, like, for instance, I had a hard time with the fact that I have the kind of heart that I have. I am the kind of way that I am to people, and that comes with people taking advantage of you. That comes with people literally not being afraid to just take, and not even ashamed. They literally make it clear to you. And these are people that you love and value and cherish and would cross oceans for and stuff. Yeah, bro. And so I learned in a very tough way that I needed to be assertive about who I am, about boundaries. I needed to be assertive in my identity, in who I am. This is me. I am a pure. I am a born-again Christian. I am like this. I am like this. May not be to everyone's pleasure or whatever, but this is who I am. And I need to be confident and bold in that. So those are the tough lessons that I learned. Number 2 would be, I loved how I was growing, guys, in terms of personal development. So I started having like a gym routine. For those of you who know, actually when I went home, I lost a lot of weight. My friend says I look sick. But anyways, Baba Nechilas. The 5 great things that I learned. One is really, guys, if you have time to spend with your family, please utilize it to the best of your ability. It is beautiful. You will fight, you will argue, you will want to scream and shout and wara. But right now, I'm so grateful I had that time and I spent it with my family. I'm so grateful for every ice cream date I had with my cousin, for every drive I took with my nephew, for every dance thing I did with my niece. I am so glad I have those memories. I'm so glad we spent that time together, you know. So family time, definitely. But I think I looked really nice, and I was really proud of the achievement in total of being able to get to that place of losing weight, but eating well, you know. My skin, I was glowing, wow. Yes, I lost weight a bit drastically, but I was proud of achieving that. and the mental strength it took and everything that it took to just get to that place, you know. So in terms of like health benefits, I was growing, personal development, I really was growing in my faith, seeing like how I was developing in my skills as well, like taking time to read a book, to write again, you know, exploring my creativity. And you know, I think that was something so beautiful about that time that I had at home, and I'm really so grateful for that, because it made me so confident in so many of my traits and so many of my skills, you know, and just generally as a person, I really just became more confident and more bold, you know, not having to please people anymore, not having to prove a point to people anymore. Number 3, prayer, guys. Yo, my prayer life. Wow. It's a wonderful day. Oh yes, it's a wonderful day. Prayer life, guys. I grew on another level in my prayer life. How I was so committed, guys. Wake up in the morning, I pray, man. Hey, like I feel like even if there were demons who were assigned to our house on those days, listen, man, they would literally get to the gate and feel the furnace. They would feel the furnace because I was praying, guys. I was earnestly praying, and I thank God. I thank God for that altar. I thank God for that altar in my home, and that it started there. I am so grateful because I saw things happen in my home. I saw God covering our home, protecting our home. The other thing that I learned is definitely resilience. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing because at the time it might not have seemed as great and whatnot. But resilience, to be able to wake up and say, Ndokokbana, listen man, I don't feel like living today. But telling yourself back, net Friday, I'm gonna live. Aspirous, I'm gonna live life on purpose. I'm gonna be proactive, you know, and I'm gonna do my best. I remember in particular the runs on my running trail in the morning. There's a steep there, and so running uphill on many of the mornings when I'd feel discouraged, I would literally just get to them, and just as I'm about to be like, oh, I'm going back home, I tell myself, I literally have to tell my mind, Bachonga, you didn't come here to stop this far. You're going and you're running up this mountain. And I would run, and I would feel like I've conquered so much by the time I get to the top of the steep, and it's like, wow, you know. So resilience, and that's maybe a small example or analogy, but resilience in so many areas of my life, to not give up. I've learned that, and that's a beautiful thing to learn, because sometimes some people who haven't learned that, and I used to be this person, walk away from everything literally, and you miss out on good things in life because you haven't taught yourself to fight and be a fighter, and to get to a place where you fight for the things you love, you fight for the things that matter, you know. That resilience and not giving up, literally that committing to something and not giving up, that was something that I really think is beautiful, and that was an outcome of my time at home. And of course, definitely I'd say just the community that I was around made me grow in who I am and my purpose. I had no idea that it could, the very same community that can hurt and whatnot and say tough things and whatnot, can be the very same people who bring out these beautiful things in you. I loved more. And that might seem crazy because like, I have you where we know you must you love. But guys, I loved more. I got stretched in my love. I got stretched in my giving. When I didn't have an income, when I didn't have a job, I got stretched in my generosity. It's so crazy to me how I was at a place where I felt like I'm lacking. But the way I was able to share and do certain things, literally, it was by God's grace. But also, it was definitely beautiful, beautiful lessons, beautiful things I get to take along with me going forward in my life. You know, I learned how to love. I learned how to cover people, I learned how to, like, a character, my character. You know, I got tested in a lot of cases where I wanted to be like but God. But God. Those are just a couple of some of the beautiful things and the tough things that I learned on the journey. But ultimately, this is all to encourage someone to say that it's a season, is a ruler. It's gonna pass. It's not just beautiful, nice words we say to give you some hope, but it's truth. It really is true that it is not forever. It is not forever. Is a ruler. Situation will change. Is a ruler. But you need to stay the due course in your season. There are things that need to happen inside of you that need to be activated, ignited, and some cut off in this time. So stay your due course in the time, because by the time you get to the finish line, or by the time you get to the end of the season, you will be a completely different person. You will be a different person. But in order to get to that, you need to stay your due course in the time you're in now. That is important. Someone said that the one thing about this generation that they find it makes them very not happy is the fact that this generation struggles to stay the due course, to commit to things. And in light of that as well, I really just want to encourage us as young people, let's commit, guys. Let's stay the due course. You know, sometimes you can't always be the person who dismisses and runs away. No, growth is staying. Growth is committing through the thorns and the tough things. You know, it's staying, it's committing so you can grow. And I'm not promoting abuse, ne? I'm just saying that sometimes in life things are tough. Things are tough and you can't run from that, because everywhere you go it will be tough and you cannot run from that. Ultimately it's fate, yabo. So it's so important to be resilient. Don't give up. And uzixelele ngawe, betshaka wena. Like, don't wait for people to applaud you. Don't wait for voices around you, but let it come from the inside. Be confident, be bold. In this time, take the time to develop in those things. I'm telling you, it may seem like a season of punishment and it's just going on for long and long, but it is the most beautiful, beautiful time of cultivating, sowing, and later on harvesting. So take this time, really take this time. And it's a word of encouragement, man. Really is a word of encouragement. Izolula. But yeah, thank you guys for watching, and thank you guys for being so supportive on this channel. Please like, subscribe, comment down below. Tell your friends to tell their friends to tell their friends that it's going down on the Adamant of Hewer channel. Thank you guys so much for your support. Love you so much. Take care. Bye.